And welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Triple Threat Talk. And you know what? It's going to be exciting. And you know why? Because my two co-hosts, and I use that term loosely, are absent this week, and for good reason. I am extremely disappointed in them. If you saw the intro last week, the audio was wrong. The camera was upside down. And where in God's name did that bunny come from, okay? These guys couldn't do anything on their own. They always need me, okay? So now we're going to do the show by ourselves, just with me and the camera here, okay? Let's go over my co-hosts, okay? First you have the doctor who always likes to ramble about everything. Oh, I'm the doctor with Triple Threat Talk. I'm going to talk about Rex Grossman's stats, and Tim Tebow's stats, and this stat, and this stat. Guess what, Doctor? Newsflash. Nobody cares, okay? And then we have PostMaster Jones, who thinks everything is epic. And I mean everything. Oh, this is epic. This is epic. Epic, 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 epic. We know it's not epic. You're not epic, okay? And I'm tired of these two co-hosts being complete morons. Hey, what's up?
You got some nerve.
Hey,
you do.
how's it going? You know what? I gotta go. So
You don't have to go anywhere except sitting down right
He's
here.
gonna sit down, sir.
Hey, Doc.
What up?
You remember that skit a few weeks
I
back?
don't remember that skit.
When
I don't remember that skit.
backyard wrestling turned to basketball?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, we do
No.
I think screw the basketball.
So do I. I think screw the basketball.
Why
Let's
don't
do
you
how
show
it's
him
supposed to be.
how it's supposed to be done?
Oh, gladly.
I gotta go.
Oh no, you sit down. And you know what? His show intro offends me.
You know what? That is epic.
Hey, wait! You stole my line!
And welcome everyone to another exciting edition of Triple Threat Talk. And, well, Daddy missed you.
Well, he got it this week.
He got Top Domo.
And Tom Dino.
Yeah.
I mean, good lord.
Well,
But this week's really screwed us. Again, I'm going to do like I always do. Pull it up on the screen. As you can see this week, the doctor is in first place, and me and Postmaster are tied for second. This week.
He went 8-5, and we went 5-8.
I went 6 and 7.
So we both had losing
a
weeks.
big cry from last week. I was 12 and 4 completely. Oh, this week was bad.
Very bad.
You're going to have to face it. The doc knows his football.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, here we go.
I think I'm the one that knows
Anyway,
football.
we'll get into football a little later on, but we always start the show with some viewer questions.
Ba-da-ba. FWA owner 22. Do you think that Matt Moore should be first string quarterback for the Miami Dolphins instead of Chad Henne?
I'm going to have to say this is the easiest viewer question ever because it's already happened. Chad Henne out with injury this week, and Matt Moore gets the starting nod.
Right. I think even if he wasn't injured, Chad Henne, I think it's time for them to get a change because obviously something's not working right in Miami. They haven't won a game yet. They're 0-4. They're playing the Jets on Monday Night Football.
0-5.
0-5, even worse. Okay. They're 0-5.
Trust me, they share the same records as my Colts.
Yeah,
I know.
They're playing the Jets on Monday Night Football. Not an easy game. They need to do something. Tony Sparano's in the hot seat. The Miami Dolphins are in complete disarray this year.
Definitely a complete disarray. From JB11, 2011.
JBL.
Do you think WWE is just mostly entertainment and barely has awesome wrestling?
Really?
Compared to TNA?
Really?
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 Who wants to handle this
Well,
first?
let's not mock. First of all, let's not mock the viewer questions.
Yeah,
They
so
are
calm down.
I'm mocking the company he compared to.
I just think that personally, I think. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Personally, I think the dog in the backyard on top of a circus rolling ball has more talent than TNA.
Wow.
So, but the fact remains that I think with the WWE, you see a good mixture of both, and they're showing that. They showed that the last couple weeks.
I mean, I think first and foremost, Vince McMahon would not deny that the WWE is pure entertainment. It is. Right. It's sport. It's pure
World Wrestling Entertainment.
Not World Wrestling Federation.
Right. Anyway, so here's the thing. I'll answer this question. Okay, WWE, they are purely entertainment. That's correct. But the good matches they put on, they have good matches from time to time. That's entertainment. So, but TNA, okay, I'm talking about TNA real quick, and we usually don't talk about TNA here. TNA will never compete with WWE. They just don't have the good writers. And they just don't know how to book people right.
Vince Russo.
They don't know how to book. Well, he's not in charge anymore, but he's still on the team.
But he's still on the team.
But they don't know how to book people right. They'll never catch WWE. They think they can compete. They can't. They need to figure out. They need to figure out people in the back office before they figure out everything else. So.
And TNA's big problem is Jeff Jarrett runs off all they're good people.
Yeah.
And
the only reason TNA is still in business is because Dixie Carter's daddy has a ton of money.
And you know what TNA stands for?
Total non-stop action?
No, totally not action.
Oh!
That's what it stands for. So from Against All Odds 20.
Oh, here we go. He's turning into Undead Warrior.
He's the next Undead Warrior.
Our buddy here.
Maybe it's his other YouTube channel.
First of all, let me address a challenge he laid down to me and the Doc regarding Cody Rhodes, and that if Cody Rhodes became world champion before Wade Barrett, that we would wear bags on our head.
This is Face's pure beauty, so no.
Really?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but let me just answer this. We've already had bags on our head.
Yeah.
So have I, if you saw this kid.
And no, we won't, because we're not going to have to. Because me and the Doctor are going to be right when Wade Barrett wins the world title before Cody Rhodes.
Which will be in the next 2 or 3 months.
Now, moving on to your questions here. What's going on? Why haven't we talked about ROH?
I don't know.
I thought we mentioned them.
I thought
before.
we have talked about
I'll
ROH.
address this. Yes, I admit we did mention on the show a couple weeks ago when ROH was getting their TV deal, we try to watch it, but with our hectic schedule, working schedule, it's kind of hard for us all three to sit down, watch the show on the computer, and then analyze it. If we had time, if it was like a day we're all off or something, we could probably sit down and analyze it, but until then, we really can't analyze it. So.
And we don't have the network that's carrying it on TV here.
So we can watch it on the internet. So
here in Kentucky, so we can't watch it on TV. The only way we can access it is online. And like he said, we all have a hectic work schedule as it is, and we barely have time to squeeze enough time to get together and do show notes for this show. So to add in ROH is even harder.
right.
Yeah, to do what we do in the amount of time. Personally, I work on the show for a 40, 50-minute show, I work about an hour every night in research. Now, the thing
This is more work than I do.
Well, the thing about it is, you got
No, it's not.
Oh,
yeah, you do a lot too with editing and all that. And,
well, before the show.
and we all contribute here.
Except for
And,
PostMaster.
you know, it's. I mean, as soon
Really?
as ROH comes to TV, we will be addressing.
Well, the thing is, the market there is in Lexington, so.
Second question: do you think that John Cena's title win at
Night of Champions.
thank you was pointless?
Yeah, because I'll say this and I'll say it again. I knew Del Rio was going to be champion come mid-October because they said months ago, and I doubt they were going to change their mind. They wanted Del Rio to be champion when they went to Mexico for Raw, and that's exactly what happened. So to give John Cena the title and take it away from him and give it to Del Rio at Hell in a Cell was completely pointless. I don't know why they took it off from Del Rio in the first place.
Yeah, that made no sense to me too. I mean, if you knew Del Rio was going to be champion going to Mexico, why even do the title change? Why even make the change? Just leave it.
It makes both guys look bad. It makes Del Rio look bad, and then it makes Cena look bad.
Right, absolutely.
I disagree. I think it had a point because after he won the title, all we heard about for the next week was how he's the first person to have it for 10 times, and I think it was the history.
Well, he would have got that eventually.
Yeah, but overall it was pointless. Yes, I totally agree. But it did have a point in and of itself.
But
because,
I'll pose a question to you: was it the right time to do it then?
no,
Okay, then.
no.
All right,
But that was the point of it.
Okay.
And the final question from Against All Odds is kind of a laughing question.
Whoa, laugh.
Why is WWE misusing great talent
Okay, let's hear these people.
like Ted DiBiase Jr.? Okay, fail. Daniel Bryan, he's already being used. He's the Money in the Bank winner.
Okay.
So he's obviously not being misused.
Right.
Joe Henning. Who?
Michael McGillicuddy.
Oh, Michael McGillicuddy, right.
Right.
I guess you could say he's being misused.
He's definitely being misused.
And unfortunately, with this next individual, I don't think he's going to be around much longer. John Morrison.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's a rumor that's wrong, that they're not going to re-sign John Morrison.
Well,
but to Postmaster's point,
I mean,
Daniel Bryan's already been, he's Money in the Bank champion. I think Against All Odds has a good point in one aspect. I think that and we talked about it, I think that having Daniel Bryan win Money in the Bank and then lose to Wade Barrett made no sense. But other than that, I mean, I agree with him that they are misusing talent. And to be honest with you, I don't have an answer. They have their way that tends to work, though.
I think WWE, I've known this for years. WWE has they have a kind of a certain attachment to some people. Mm-hmm. They push people at certain times and they just give up.
Yeah.
Like Del Rio's been pushed before and they just give up on him, or The Miz or whatever.
You know who's being misused talent?
Who?
Woo.
That's true.
Well, he's been misused for a while, but
Zack Ryder should be U.S. champion. I'll say it now and I'll say it again.
These people, let's see. First of all, who was on the list first?
John Morrison.
John Morrison. Yeah, I mean, if you saw Raw, he got completely annihilated by Cody, Christian, Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, so obviously he's not going to be around much longer. Ted DiBiase, yeah.
I guess Ted DiBiase Sr. is not kissing Vince's ass
Daniel Bryan,
like some people's fathers.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan, I mean, he's Money in the Bank champ, so he's going to get his time. And then Joe Hennig, Michael McGillicuddy, he's going to get his time eventually, but right now he's not really doing anything. So.
Is there anybody else like that he did not mention that you would say is being misused?
Oh, yeah.
I agree with Zack Ryder.
Zack Ryder. I think Sin Cara could be used to a little bit.
I think two people that are being misused at this moment, and you'll be like, really? But I think you might agree. It might be Sheamus and Wade Barrett.
Right, and I definitely think Wade Barrett should be the champion. And that's not. I mean, the kid's he's just good.
But it's like Sheamus is in the main event, but it doesn't seem like he's getting the title shot. I mean, I know obviously I'm a big Sheamus fan, but it seems like it's always Del Rio, Punk, Cena.
And I know that we said that Sin Cara is the botch master, but he's gotten better. He hasn't really botched
the new one. I mean.
He must be related to me. PostMaster, Botchmaster, some kind of relationship.
Anyway.
So thanks, guys, for the viewer questions and the comments. Keep those coming. We also would like for you all this week, if you would, along with your viewer questions, tell us what we can do to make this show better. If there's
because we know it's a fail.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but if there's things you would like for us to talk about that we don't, things that we talk about you want us to talk more about, maybe a segment, create a segment that you want us to, debut or try out on the show, see how we like it, definitely let us know. We appreciate all your comments, questions.
And maybe one of us shouldn't be here.
So, anyway. Looking at the bulletin board,
we have the MLB playoffs, and oh boy, they're crazy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are crazy. I mean,
so who are the New York Yankees playing?
Who?
Who are the New York Yankees playing?
They're gone.
Okay. What about the Philadelphia Phillies?
They're gone.
So who's left?
Well, let's see. On the AL side, you have the Detroit Tigers, mine and the Doctor's World Series pick, against the Texas Rangers. That series is 2-1 Texas, with Game 4 being played right now as we speak. Then on the other side of the coin, you have the Arizona, the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Who people didn't think they'd be there, but they held out.
They are riding the coattails of Albert Pooh Bear Pujols.
Albert, the machine.
He is a machine, and why? Oh, why does Milwaukee pitch to him the other night? He was five RBIs. 4 for 4 going into his last at bat. They finally got him out. The fans in Milwaukee were actually standing up clapping because it was like, finally you get this guy out. Because he was just tearing them up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if I was the manager for Milwaukee, I would figure out a way not to pitch.
You gotta walk that guy. He's too big of a threat.
I mean, I automatically give him 4 balls every time. I don't care if the base is loaded. I'm not pitching to Albert Pujols.
Pujols is probably the most dangerous player left in this World Series playoffs.
So I mean, the Phillies go down in a heap in a surprise to the Cardinals, but the Cardinals played awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to mention one thing here about the New York Yankees. Okay, you watched the last game, Game 5 against the Detroit Tigers. They had bases loaded twice, and they didn't capitalize on their chances, and that's why the Yankees lost. Obviously the Yankees are one of the better teams in the AL, obviously, but when you it doesn't matter what team it is. I don't care if it's the Yankees or the Brewers or whoever's in the playoffs. When you have bases loaded and you have an opportunity to score, you have to capitalize on the opportunity. If you don't capitalize, you do not deserve to win the World Series, in my opinion.
And one big hit regarding the Phillies game, the very last play of the game, Ryan Howard went down in a heap. He may or may not be back for spring training. I think they said he tore his Achilles tendon, I believe. Yeah. So that's a bad hit for the Phillies, which already, if you watch the end of the game, which I did, the crowd was stunned. I mean, absolutely stunned, because they thought, and just like I thought, well, the Philly Eagles suck miserably. So we got at least the Phillies, the best record in baseball all year. We got them to look forward to. At least they should be playing till the end of October, right? Wrong. That didn't happen. Upset City by the Cardinals. So we got 2 great matches here, and it's getting very interesting.
I think I'll just go with, I think Texas's offense is too good for Detroit, and I think the Cardinals are going to pull it. I think it's Texas-Cardinals World Series.
I'm sticking with what I think. I'm going to say the World Series, though, now is Detroit and Brewers. I think Detroit and St. Louis, and I'm sticking with Detroit. Yeah, I'm sticking with Detroit. And I got to disagree. I don't think Pujols is the most dangerous player. I think the most dangerous player right now is Justin Verlander.
Well, I mean, offensive
right. Well, I mean, when you just look at how he can pitch, I mean, he's your game one, pretty much knock on wood guaranteed game one when he pitches, and then you pitch you save him for late in the series, and then hopefully you can round out and make it to a later game.
Well, if Detroit makes it to the World Series, I can ultimately see Verlander going 3 games, game 1, game 4.
If it goes, it depends how far
it goes that far. Should be an interesting MLB playoffs, and Doctor, I believe, has a little horse racing topics we'd like to talk about.
Yeah, you posted a question to me. Go ahead and...
Well, the question I posted to him was posted by a viewer. This viewer watches the show regularly, and he posted this question to me, and I figured I'd pass it on to the fellas here. The question is, which race would be a more prestigious victory to win? The Kentucky Derby or the Breeders' Cup Classic? We'll start with you.
I mean, I don't know a lot about horse racing, but I know about the rich history of the Kentucky Derby. I mean, if you win the Kentucky Derby, your name is in the history books. I mean, so many great horses have won the Kentucky Derby, and they go on to sometimes win the Triple Crown, sometimes win 2 out of the 3. But I mean, it's just like the Kentucky Derby is such a spectacle. Okay, people like Louisville doesn't have much. Okay, we have fried chicken and horses. That's all we got. Okay. But when the Kentucky Derby rolls around, first Saturday in May every year, everyone that's a celebrity from every part of the country in the United States gravitates towards Louisville for that one day. That's what makes Louisville special about the Kentucky Derby. You can't deny the Kentucky Derby is great. So.
And I'm going to answer the same way that I answered to Postmaster off the air. I think you have to look at it from 2 different perspectives. I think the historical view, the traditional view, obviously the Kentucky Derby is the bigger race. It's $2 million prize. You get your name in the history books, your name and fame. The opposite end of the spectrum is when I say the word prestigious. To me, I take the root of all the words. I think prestigious equals riches, glory, and from that angle, it is the Breeders' Cup Classic because it's $5 million and a 24K solid gold trophy that the winner gets to take home, which is just amazing. So I think it's 2 ends of the spectrum to answer that question.
Okay.
I mean, I think the Derby, I mean, I agree with Big B, and it's not just because of the, being here, from here, where the Derby's from. It's just, it's been around, it's been around since the 1800s. Right. Everybody knows. If you look at the beginning of the year, there's over 1,500 3-year-olds vying to get 20 spots for the Derby. And so...
it's all we hear about here, horse racing.
And it dwindles down until you get to that spot. And, I mean, to win the Kentucky Derby is phenomenal.
And the big run starts next month with the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
We got horse racing, we got fried chicken, we got college basketball.
We don't have much more than that. So, and another question I want to pose to you regarding horse racing, and this was another question. Would you consider, or do you consider, jockeys as athletes?
I'm closely tied with the track, and I mean I have family out there. I go to just about every Derby. If I don't watch it on TV, I'm making a point that I'm home for the Derby.
Right.
That being said, I think that both jockeys and horses are the athletes. Both have won.
I was saying to you off the air, I would probably say the horses are more the athletes than the jockey. So
I mean, it's just Secretariat was named Athlete of the Year. Zenyatta.
I mean, there are some jockeys. They're just born to win.
Right.
Like Bill Shoemaker, Jerry Bailey, Pat Day.
Gary Stevens. Obviously, my favorite jockey.
But gee, I wonder why.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's a very, very traditional rich sport.
Yep. Right, absolutely. So, and we'll have more to talk about when it comes to horse racing. When we get close to Breeders' Cup,
I can't wait.
We got to put up with tennis. He can put up with Breeders' Cup. Right?
Nothing's going on with tennis right now, so I'm kind of out.
That's good. That's good. So, moving on to a little NCAA foosball.
You playing the foosball?
Foosball.
We got another piece of the puzzle for conference expansion worked out. TCU.
I just saw that.
Wait a minute, didn't they just say they were going to the Big East? Oh,
they did.
They're going to the Big something.
Big 12.
The Big 12.
Absolutely.
It's so weird with all these college football moves. It's like one team goes to this conference. They just want more money. They want to go to a bigger conference to get more money for the school. That's all it is.
Right.
And then also just happened earlier today, Auburn finally cleared of any wrongdoing in the Cam Newton case.
That was a big case for them.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, that's a shock. I think it's
color me some shock right here. See the look on my face.
I think it's just another case of the NCAA being biased towards their players. It's just like everybody trying to pick the winners, trying to pick the losers.
I was turning my head here. I didn't want to see what was going on. See.
So
Any big games stand out to you from last week? Anything? I know around here locally, some people want to say that South Carolina ran the score up.
Well, to that point, the old ball coach, if I'm a parent of a child who's a prospect at South Carolina, I have got to think my child will not be safe playing there. With 8 seconds to go, you're going to throw the ball when you're up 42 points? Really?
I've expressed it before to other people, not just you all, but college football is a sport where most of the big schools will run up the score.
Right.
I'm obviously I like the ball coach in Seattle, Pete Carroll, but he's guilty of doing it at USC. Big schools in college football like to run up the score. Right. They always do it.
I don't think it was running up the score.
I think he was being a jerk. I
like the mentality of, I'm going to run my offense. I'm sorry, it was the fourth string quarterback out there scoring on Kentucky.
Right.
So his point is, I'm going to run my offense the way I want to run it. I have the right to do that just as well as you have the right to stop me.
But shouldn't the team have respect for the other team? It's like, we beat them badly. Let's just run the ball and run the clock out.
I don't think it's a matter of respect. I think it's a matter of safety. We saw it this week. And I hate to say it, but because it does go back to the 49ers. But what happened? 4th and 4, Josh Morgan gets hurt when he scores a touchdown that did not need to happen.
Now he's out for the season.
Now he's potentially out for the season. Right? I'm going to transcribe that onto what happened with the USC Kentucky game. If that kid
University of South Carolina.
Yeah. if that kid gets hurt, it's Spurrier's butt.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's his decision that put him.
And he would lose recruits over
Absolutely.
that. I'm just saying that you have to have a matter of respect for your players.
Exactly.
Because what Steve Spurrier did shows that not only did he not have respect for Kentucky.
Not for his players.
Sorry about that. He doesn't have respect for his
players.
Right.
He doesn't have respect for his players.
Because if your ball coach puts the guys in and you're already winning by it and you risk the chance of your players getting injured, that doesn't show faith.
That's why we have the victory formation for stuff like that. That's exactly why we have it, so that way nobody gets hurt. Steve Spurrier, you're a jerk. You're a douche, and if I was Joker Phillips, I would have spit in your face for doing that play. And if I was that kid's family, I would tell you, I know our kid didn't get hurt, but I'll tell you what, he's not playing for you next year. We're going to go someplace with a little bit more respect.
It is.
It's a Kentucky fan.
It's a Kentucky fan coming out of you, because even Joker Phillips said he wasn't mad about him running the score up. One tidbit about South Carolina that needs to be brought up as well. Steven Garcia, who was once the touted starting QB for there, has been dismissed, axed from the team. Drug and alcohol violations for the sixth different time. So sixth, not 5 like Booker T. Six times. So he is definitely kicked off the team. So it looks like they're definitely moving on with Connor Shaw. So.
Speaking of moving on, before we get into that, I know we cover baseball a little bit, but just one quick thing. If you didn't know, breaking news actually coming out of the baseball. The general manager of the Boston Red Sox,
Theo Epstein,
is now signed a 5-year deal with the Chicago Cubbies.
The clubs.
So we'll see how that
worth his weight in gold.
So we'll see. Now moving on to like you said, turning left and everything.
NASCAR, the chase for the Sprint Cup Series. So last week at Dover. Or I'm sorry, did I say Dover?
Yes,
I meant to say
fail.
I meant to say Kansas. I'm sorry. Jimmy Johnson, big surprise, wins, but only for the second time this season.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like he's on as he usually is during the chase.
So the points chase, Carl Edwards, the Aflac 99 driver, has the 1 point advantage over Kevin Harvick in the Budweiser.
Where's your boy at, Tony Stewart?
My boy slipped a little bit this week. He had a second-place car all day, decided a bonehead play with to take 4 tires on the last caution, and it shuffled him back too far. He couldn't regain. But the points system is definitely working, this new system. It is the tightest points battle in history. And I think it could definitely come down to 4 or 5 guys at the very last race. And if that happens, that definitely makes for some awesome television. Mm-hmm. Because the ratings, yet again, were up. And I think the point system has a lot to do with that. It emphasizes running in the top 5, not just saying, like they used to. Well, if I finish 15th or better, I'm locked in.
Right,
It's, I got to go. Let's go as hard as I can.
It's close.
It's very close. I will be in attendance this weekend. I'm headed out to North Carolina for the...
You gonna bring us some footage?
Tobacco Road.
I'm going to... I'll bring a little correspondence piece for everybody to check out.
You get an interview with Tony Stewart?
I wish. That would be epic. That would definitely
Hey,
be...
you signed my car. Can I talk to you?
Yeah, right.
Like, he signed my car.
My car, you signed, then I can talk to you, right?
So, we have Charlotte.
Security!
We have Charlotte this week. Then we have Talladega, Martinsville. Talladega is definitely the wild card of the group. Then we have Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead. So the season's winding down, and you said Jimmy Johnson would win. Are you sticking with Jimmy Johnson now that we're partway through the chase?
You know, what place is he in right now?
Third.
You know what? I'll still stick with it. He always comes through at the
I'm
end.
still sticking with Kyle.
I'm still taking with my man. I don't care. I'll ride him the pine pony, baby. I'm going all out.
All right.
So, moving on from the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
To the NFL, I know what a week it was for, well, not for us anyway.
Not for our pick'ems anyway, but...
Let's, I'm going to go to him first. And he wants to talk about it. Go ahead.
Oh,
The big whooping by the 49ers.
48-3. I'm not even going to dwell on it because, I've realized, I've gone back and listened to the shows. I know I'll talk a little bit about the 49ers, but the fact is, when you're a team that's 4-1, having a winning record and you haven't for so long, it is news.
Right. All right.
It is news.
And now, wait, I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
The
Now,
Lions are...
I'll get to them.
5-0.
I'll get to them. You know what?
News.
Last week I did pick the Giants to beat the Seahawks, but as a Seahawks fan, I'm glad the Seahawks won. They're now 2-3. Not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but a better spot than 1-4. And then, obviously, just how good are the Detroit Lions?
They're very good. I mean, when you talk about, but see, they have one problem, and I think it's going to be exploited this Sunday. And we're going to talk about it. They really only have one playmaker, and that's Megatron. I mean, when you talk about
whoa, there's Transformers on the team. What?
When you're talking about Calvin Johnson, I mean, the guy has a 17-foot catch radius. It's just ridiculous.
I see two more playmakers on the team.
I don't.
I see.
Not in this match. We'll talk about
I see Matthew Stafford as a better quarterback than he used to be, but I see two big playmakers. Ndamukong Suh, probably the most dominant defensive tackle in football. And two, I was pretty impressed with Jahavi Best in Monday Night Football. He was impressive.
Javid Best.
No team has rushed for more than 100 yards this season against the Niners. They have the number
but you know
one
what?
rush
It's so funny. It is so funny. They've won 13 games straight since leading back to that season. And just 2 years ago, they won zero. And now they're 5-0. Unbelievable.
I've got to give it to them. They are amazing this year. And so are the Packers.
The Packers.
Well, Packers aren't surprised, but I am craving that matchup. Lions and Packers. That's gonna be a great game.
Before we get to our pick'ems, some big news did happen, as we mentioned in our questions. Matt Moore did take over the starting nod for Miami. Tim Tebow passing up Brady Quinn. So, like, going from 1 to 3, you pass them both up. Tim Tebow definitely energized the Denver team.
You know why
on
Tim
Sunday.
Tebow started?
Why?
Because he's epic.
Yeah, he's good.
Tim Tebow is that.
Sorry, I took you on there.
Michael Vick breaks their... I know Postmaster doesn't like him.
Hold on.
I know. But he did make news, good news this year. This week.
Oh, come on, man.
Michael Vick breaks the record for most rushing yards by a quarterback.
Clean this ear out over here.
Okay.
Also,
Michael
we want you guys to take a look at this up on the screen.
Well, that's my thing. All right, so you have no power to do that. So what he's introducing here, there was a touchdown. It was 10-0 New Orleans, and Cam Newton throws a pass to Steve Smith. He breaks away from his defender, scores a touchdown. And then there's a little bit of a play at the end. Let's take a look at the screen. That's what I can do.
Showing a lot of pressure here. Newton in trouble on the run.
As you can see here, Roman Harper, out of nowhere and for no reason, just plowing into the back of Steve Smith.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
When I plowed the
That's right, you were talking about some football.
But yeah,
Jimmy, have a personal foul.
I'm sorry.
Roman Harper should have been ejected, but isn't. And then Steve Smith, out of defense, I would do the same thing. He has every right in the world to do
I'm going to talk about that just 1 second before you get into your Eagles rant. Because I know you're right. I know you're chomping at the bit. But I think the rule for unsportsmanlike conduct is completely ridiculous. 15 yards in the kickoff. Whoop-de-doo. I say the guy should be ejected from the game
He should have been
immediately.
ejected and fined.
Fine. I'm not too keen on the fine
because when you got one jerk doing that, and he can get away with it.
If you fine him, I have no problem either way. But they should definitely be suspended. 15 yards in the kickoff does not teach a lesson at all. And besides, just kick it in the end zone anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
So anytime someone does a personal foul, especially what Roman Harper did to Steve Smith, it's an injection immediately.
Yeah, and it was just a jerk.
Totally ridiculous.
So, as you said earlier, how good are the Lions? So I'm going to ask PostMaster, how bad are the Philadelphia Eagles? The floor is yours, sir.
The Philadelphia Eagles are no longer underrated or unachieving. They suck miserably. 1-4. Michael Vick, for God's sakes, he's going to get his neck broke because his offensive line is garbage. He's running for his life. He gets an injury or some form of an injury every game, which I'm tickled pink. I hope they break his damn leg, for God's sakes, because they're completely went from, oh, they're underperforming, to, oh, what's going on here, to they just suck. I told you in the football special they wouldn't make the playoffs. It was a bad $100 million to spend on Michael Dick. It was a bad play. I mean, they do have some good players. Deshaun Jackson.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Nnamdi
Asomugha. I mean, they have some very good players on that team. But it's obvious there's problems there. And to say that I'm upset about it would be completely wrong. I'm actually happy about it. You know what I'm more upset about? Because if I get any more about the Eagles, my head's going to explode. But what I am upset about is my Indianapolis Colts cannot even beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home. You have a lead. I'm sorry. Curtis Painter looked phenomenal in the first half. They looked really good. And it was like, okay, let's flip the switch. And the second half, terrible.
Conservatives.
It was terrible. 0-5, and now rumors out of Indianapolis that the Colts are definitely trying to go after Andrew Luck.
Like I said last week.
And I disagree. And you're going to say, whoa, what?
Whoa, what?
Don't steal my wild card here.
Well, I'm going to go there. I'm sorry.
No, I mentioned it to you.
Quick, think of something on the fly. Like I always do.
I think that the Colts should go after Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Really?
I brought that point up to Postmaster on a phone call after we talked about this for a little bit. And this is what my wild card's going to be a little bit later on, but I've got to go ahead and stick it out there since he's bringing it up now. Everyone's coining this the Andrew Luck sweepstakes. It needs to be the Kellen Moore sweepstakes, and I'll go into that later. I've got all the stats.
So now we recapped Week 5. Now the picks for Week 6, very interesting. So we'll see how. Again, I'll bring it up on the screen. This week I'm 45-32.
I'm 45-32.
And the Doctor's a 2-game lead at 47-30. So obviously last week was abysmal for most of us. Even the Doctor 8-5 is not great either. So hopefully this week some of the games a little bit more balanced out. So let's get into the picks this week.
First of all, just to let everybody know that the Arizona Fighting Cardinals are on a bye week. Also, the Denver Bucking Broncos are on a bye week.
The Denver Epics now.
The Kansas City Chumps.
They need it. They need it.
The San Diego Lightning Bolts. The Seattle Sea Fails. And the Tennessee Titans.
How dare you!
So they're all on a bye. You thought that was fun.
I like it. It was funny.
Alright.
Marshawn Lynch. Beast mode.
So,
anyway.
Starting with Top Dino over here. Carolina at the Atlanta Falcons.
I'm going to go Falcons.
Wow. This might be a stretch, but I think Carolina. I don't think Atlanta's that good. Sorry.
You know, it's picks like that is why he goes 6 and...
Whoa, I was 12-4 last week. Thank you very much.
I'm going with Atlanta.
All right.
The Jacksonville Jag Fails against the Pittsburgh
with
Steelers.
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert.
I'm going to go with home cooking Pittsburgh.
Home cooking sounds good. Anyway, off of that. Now, I'm going to pick Pittsburgh, but I did see the line this week. It's one of the things I remember. Pittsburgh's a 12.5-point favorite. That might be a little bit too many points, but I still pick Pittsburgh.
I pick Pittsburgh.
Okay, here we go. This is a tough game. I really think it is.
The Washington Redskins against the Philadelphia Sox.
Washington's shown that they have viability. They have a little bit of chemistry where it looks like the Eagles have none. They're playing at home. I'm going with the Redskins.
You know, I say every week, I think the Eagles are going to get the act together. But I have to go with the Redskins. The Eagles aren't very good. Sorry.
Well, you know who I'm picking. Is it even a doubt?
The Eagles?
No, I'm going with the Redskins.
Okay.
The St. Louis Clams
St. Louis Clams.
against the Green Bay Packers.
0-4 versus 4-0, or
Gee, I
0-5
wonder.
versus 5-0. I think I'm gonna go Green Bay.
I'm going to pick the St. Louis. Yeah, right. Green Bay Packers. Come on.
Packers in a runaway.
The Green Bay Packers.
The New York Football Giants are at home against the Buffalo
Bills.
I gotta go with the Bills.
If last week was any indication, now Seattle doesn't win it. Doesn't win on the road. They won last week. Buffalo's playing tremendous. Go Buffalo.
I say Bills.
The Bills and the Lions are good. Bills won Super Bowl. I'm calling it now.
This is crazy. We've picked every game the same except for the very first one. So we're either going to be really bad or really good.
All right then.
The
Oh, here we go.
Detroit 5-0 Lions against the San Francisco.
Don't you wish?
I like that.
I'm picking Detroit. But,
Whoa! Stop the presses!
but I gotta say this. It's gonna be the number one defensive middle linebacker in the league versus the number one wide receiver in the league. It's going to be a great game. And NFL and Fox, shame on you. Everyone agrees this should be the game of the week and not Dallas and Tony Homo versus New England Patriots and dummy Tom Brady.
Okay.
This is just ridiculous.
All right. Obviously last week on Monday Night Football, the Lions got off to a slow start, but they ended up beating them. The Lions are very good. The Lions win this game.
And also another thing, I don't think Havad Best is going to do any.
Javid.
I don't think he's going to do 100 yards rushing.
He's gonna get mad. We're not pronouncing his name right.
San Francisco.
Whoa! You serious?
I'm serious.
You're gonna pick Lions against Lions every week, aren't you? You're gonna get it right once, right?
Why not?
Oh boy, this is
The toilet bowl game of the week.
the AFC toilet bowl.
It seems like we're in this game every week.
Yeah, really.
It's getting old. The Indianapolis Clams
Yes, the St. Louis
and the Cincinnati Bungles.
Cincinnati's got the number one defense in the league, and the Colts have far from the number one offense.
They don't have number one
Taking
anything.
Cincy.
They don't have number one anything, especially not a win. Go Bungles
Go Bungles. The Cleveland Brownie Mix
versus the Oakland Fails.
against the Oakland Al Davises.
Well, before you get into that, is actually I'm not gonna bring up on the screen, but there was actually a picture out there when the Raiders went for the final touchdown last week. Not the final touchdown. Who were they playing last week? The Oakland Raiders. The Texans. Sorry, Texans. When the Texans were going for a touchdown at the end of the game, and the winning touchdown, the Raiders stopped them. There were only 10 men on the field, and they didn't catch that.
There was 11.
No, I counted there was 10.
Yeah.
They actually showed it.
But there was 11.
Al Davis, I get it.
But yeah,
Anyway.
that one was for Al last week. They're at home this week. I think Oakland's the real deal. I'm going with Oakland.
I pick Oakland, but I think last week was just because of the Al Davis thing. I don't think Oakland's that good, but I don't think Cleveland's that good either, so I go Oakland.
I pick Oakland.
Oh boy, this is not good.
So
All the same, pretty much.
So the next game will be the Houston Mexicans against the Baltimore Crave Cases.
Crab
I'm
cakes.
going to go Baltimore. Baltimore's coming off a bye week, and they are good.
I think Houston's one of the better teams in the AFC. I go Houston.
I think he's completely out of his mind. And the Ravens win because they're at home.
Okay.
The Tampa Bay Watch Your Buccaneers
Whoa.
against the New Orleans Saints come marching in.
Saints.
What is that? Are you running in a place?
Well, the Saints. I picked the Saints. You picked the Bucks. You're bucking crazy.
I agree. Saints win. The New England Unpatriots.
Sale of the week.
Come on with these nicknames already. You have to reuse another one. The St. Louis Clams and Indianapolis Clams.
And the Dallas Fail Boys.
Oh boy.
I'm going to go New England.
You gotta go with the unpatriotic Patriots.
It is definitely the unpatriotic Patriots. The Chicago
Bears
Baby Bears
against the Minnesota Fails.
against the Minnesota Pirates.
Chicago.
Last week was a fluke. Minnesota had the lead on Arizona. Arizona didn't come back. I think the Bears rebound from the loss against the Lions. I think the Bears win.
I think the Bears win. And then the
All the same.
Monday night game of the week, the Miami Dolphin Tails
Monday Night Football without Hank Williams.
Against the New York 747s.
I gotta go with the Jets.
You know, I gotta go with the Jets. I hope the Jets get their act together. They're obviously a great football team. The Miami Dolphins are in big trouble.
I go with the Jets.
Before you go, I'd say
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 10 of the 13 games were in full agreement here. The only games that went out on a limb in the Carolina-Atlanta game, we said Atlanta, you said Carolina. You all said Detroit, I said San Fran. We said Balta, you said Hugh.
So this is going to be a crazy week. So speaking of crazy, let's talk about wrestling.
You mean wrestling?
Wrestling.
Was there a show?
Yeah, there was a show.
Turns out there was a show.
You know, Monday Night
Triple H is going to wrestle a broomstick.
Well, before we get to that, you know, we usually don't talk about SmackDown, but something happened on SmackDown. The big show.
Somebody's going to get his ass whooped, and that was Mark Henry.
Someone's on SmackDown.
We got
to watch it.
He's
on Suicide Watch.
He's on Suicide Watch now.
Because if Big Show wins at Vengeance, then he's going to commit suicide.
Hey, can I get your production equipment in your will?
No.
Can I have your PS3?
Sure.
Epic! At least I get something out of it.
Can I get the flat screen?
No.
Can he have Domo?
Yes.
All right! Yeah!
Oh boy. So Monday Night Raw.
Who what?
Monday Night Raw. You know,
there was a show
with Triple H is no longer COO. Now Vince McMahon came out and said,
"Whoa! Before you get to that,
okay.
The beginning was hilarious.
You had the opening match with Sheamus versus John Cena. Special referee Triple H, and on commentary and ring announcer and timekeeper was CM Punk,
which was hilarious. Oh, and he got double pay.
Double pay. And he got to wear Triple H's jacket.
But where's his diet soda? I ask you.
Where was his WWE ice cream bars?
I want this. Anyway, so like I said, Triple H his services are no longer needed.
Who'd you say came back?
Vince McMahon.
The who?
The Big Cheese.
The Big Cheese.
So he came back and said Triple H's services are no longer needed. And then he said the interim general manager is John Lauris. Here, have one of these.
Oh, I need that.
So he's the interim general manager, and he made a little he had a little bit of a announcement. JR, you're fired.
JR, because you like Oklahoma, you're fired.
I think that moves. I mean, obviously it's ploy. He's gonna get his man.
That's
his
job
back.
He did make some matches for Vengeance.
He made a match.
John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio.
Woo. And then epicness. Triple H is going to team with CM Punk to take on R-Truth and The Miz,
who are back from their suspension.
The Miz.
By the way, I'd like to invoke something here.
What?
And don't get all out of shape when I say this.
Uh-oh.
But after watching Monday Night, and after seeing what I saw, if the four of these people stick together, and I mean Jack Swagger, which they can actually replace him.
There's somebody more epic.
Dolph Ziggler.
Christian.
And Cody Rhodes.
Yes!
That pair, or foursome I should say, that puts Cody Rhodes on my epic level. I'm just saying.
But besides Jack Swagger, though, because
yeah, and maybe they could be called Latino Heat, and Vicky could be the manager.
I still look for some kind of grouping with Triple H behind all this.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be looking at Cena, Punk, and Sheamus.
Yeah, it wasn't really much wrestling on Raw this week.
You know,
wasn't.
I liked Cena. Was my weakness. I liked Cena this week. This was a week where I hated to love him. I just, everybody has it every now and then.
Don't stop believing.
But he was good on the mic, and he came out and things are about to get serious. That was pretty good.
So not much really action this week on Raw.
Vengeance is coming up in less than 2 weeks.
Vengeance is not this Sunday, but the Sunday after, the 23rd. Right now, the only matches we have are Del Rio versus Cena, and we have 3 actually. Mark Henry versus the Big Fail, and CM Punk and Triple H taking on Miz-Truth.
So a little buy sell.
I'm doing this impromptu this week, but I'm going to start off with an easy one. Buy sell the Lions.
Buy all that. I mean, Like I said earlier, 13 straight wins dating back to last season. 2 years ago, 0-16. Quarterback Matthew Stafford's playing better. Javid Best.
Javid
Best.
Good job.
Javid Best is playing good with that good offensive line. Dominican Sue is playing a dominant defensive game. Calvin Johnson, I could go on for an hour how good he is. Buy the Lions, absolutely.
I buy the Lions, but they're not going to win the division because the Packers are going to win the division.
Like I said, that game is...
It's going to be a good game, but I still think the Packers have a lot more wins in them than the Lions.
Well, before you get to your answer, I'll get ahead on pose a question to him.
Well, I was going to say that I'm going to buy him, although I do think I picked because I have to stay unbiased here. I picked Detroit to win. My heart is with San Francisco this week. I think that they can do it. I do think I'm going to go with PostMaster. I think they can do it. I am buying the Lions though for every reason we've seen.
And I'll pose a question to you: when the Lions play the Packers, I know PTI does this. What percentage do you give the Lions to beat the Packers out of 100%?
30.
I give them 49.
I say about 50% because the Lions, they're good enough. So
I just think the Packers are that good. I'm
They
sorry.
are that good.
I mean,
They have nobody on their team that can cover Calvin Johnson.
I know, but
a key stat to throw out from the Packers game, and this just tells you how diverse the Packers are, or how epic Aaron Rodgers is. 10 different receivers caught a pass.
Yeah.
right. I mean, that is the game. That game when the Lions play the Packers, it's going to define how good the Lions are. If the Lions either win or they give the Packers one heck of a game.
Name me another team in the NFL that can throw to 12 different people and they'll catch the ball.
No.
None. Maybe the Patriots, but not even that many.
Maybe.
And then I've got one more here before we got to get to all the wild cards. But buy sell the NBA season.
Sell.
I'm gonna sell.
I'm not talking about the whole season. Buy sell that there will be a game in the NBA this year.
Sell.
It's not gonna happen.
No. Your answer sell.
My answer is going to be sell. Although don't look for maybe a 10 game.
Right, because right now, I mean 10 games would be a waste. But right now, as it stands, the NBA has canceled the first 2 weeks. So right now, 14 games are canceled. So you'd look about maybe 68 game season. Right.
You know what I think?
What?
And maybe a little bit of a buy-sell topic here for you all. With the NBA, shutting down, and this was posed to the commissioner of the NHL, and I'll ask this to you all. Does the NHL benefit from the NBA being locked out?
Absolutely.
They don't have anything to compete with except for football, but they don't have the NBA to compete with.
No, they've got college basketball.
Right.
But I mean during the week, football's only used on Sunday or Monday. So during the week, it's either usually NBA, NHL, or college basketball. And I agree, too. I think this will be a good boost for...
But it's just, to me, it does not look like there's going to be any basketball this year. It doesn't look like there's any talk with anybody. Looks like the NBA season's not going to happen. So.
All right.
I think the Colts have a better chance of winning a game than there is an NBA season.
Looking like it. All right, let's wrap it up with a little bit of wild card. I think Big B had a little bit of something.
I'll go last.
You want to go last?
Yeah, I think mine should be last.
Okay, go ahead.
I mentioned earlier this week, I mentioned last week actually, and then earlier in the show, they're talking about the 0-5 teams, the St. Louis Rams,
St. Louis Clams,
the Miami Dolphins, and the Indianapolis Colts as being in the Andrew Luck sweepstakes. I think it should be the Kellen Moore sweepstakes, and here's the thing. There's been a couple things going on here. First of all, just the raw numbers. Kellen Moore for his career, 956 pass completions for 12,258 yards, 116 touchdowns, and 23 interceptions. That's damn good. Andrew Luck is a lot different. Still good. 531 for 805 tries, 7,296 yards, 59 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. There is a huge gap between Kellen Moore and Andrew Luck, and I know people are saying, but look at the conferences. What about the conferences? The Pac-12 are just as weak as the WAC is. I mean,
that's so whack.
It's true though. The WAC has Boise State, and you're looking at Stanford with the Pac-12. It's pretty much what it is, especially with the decline in USC, Southern California. That's just how it is. I think you were looking at the not at the Andrew Luck sweepstakes, but the Kellen Moore sweepstakes.
Very interesting.
All right. You got a wild card this week?
I really don't have one this week.
Nothing.
I mean, I kind of went on my Eagles rant in the talking about football. There is one thing I will say.
Okay.
regarding, I guess, a topic that wasn't discussed, but we can throw it out here. And that is Charlie Strong. And what I mean by that is, I know it's a local topic, but he has done a lot over the last couple weeks. And I mean, he fired his offensive coordinator in the middle of the season and replaced him with the other guy. And he showed a lot of heart and passion in his press conference after losing to Marshall. And I think that's great. I know U of L's underperformed.
They are.
And they're not good at all.
No,
I mean,
they're not.
Football in this state is completely awful this
Bad.
year. But I'm excited. And for the reason being is Charlie Strong. He is a very fiery coach. He deserves to be credited when the credit is due. He's doing the right things. He's pushing the right buttons. He's saying the right things. Give it time. They will be back. It's just a matter of time.
All right, I guess it's my turn. Last week, the show was posted Wednesday or Thursday, I remember. The day it was posted, or the day before, we lost two. Well, was it the same day?
No, it was 1 day apart.
1 day apart. We lost two people. First was Apple pioneer Steve Jobs. Lost his battle with cancer. Obviously, he probably knew his time was up because he left Apple a few months back. If anyone knows anything about technology, obviously Steve Jobs' name comes up. Very bright pioneer of that company. There's not much I can go all day about Steve Jobs. Just like if you're a nerd or a geek, Steve Jobs' name as it comes on the list. I mean, did so much for Apple. Made podcasting you were able to do it with obviously iTunes making it so much easy to do. G4 had a whole big thing all day. When the day he passed was on Steve Jobs. It's sad to see someone like him go, but that's Steve Jobs. And then moving on to the day after, the NFL lost a big person in Al Davis, 82, I believe, right? 82 was the owner of the Oakland Raiders since like the 1970s. Well, he was a coach before that also. Al Davis, obviously one of the prolific figures in football.
He was key in the merger of the AFL and the NFL.
Yeah, he was obviously a big prolific figure on the Raiders. Everyone, it depends how you felt about him as an owner. He was obviously a pioneer when the merger came on between the NFL and the AFL. Obviously, those both will truly be missed. So,
all right,
that's the show.
That's the show, and as always, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. Facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. And you can send us any comment or question you have at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. So for Big B.
And as always, don't forget to check out
talkabout.org. So you failed this time.
Sorry. And PostMaster Joe.
And I'm the doctor.
See ya.
Thanks for watching, guys.